Right in the middle of Moscow, there is a village that at first glance does not seem Russian at all. The German baker delivers bread rolls straight to your door. German traffic rules apply on the streets, and people greet each other with servus or hallo. In the evening, people meet up at the inn called Deutsches Eck, drink a beer together, and eat Weisswurst. And yet this village is not located somewhere in Germany, but right in the megacity of Moscow with 13 million inhabitants. This German village is very famous in Russia, not least because Putin personally sent both of his daughters to the German school in this exact village. But how did this German village come into existence? What is its story, and why is it on the verge of disappearing? You will find out all of that in this video. The origins of this village go back to the post-war period. After the war, there was the Federal Republic of Germany and the German Democratic Republic, and both wanted to generally improve diplomatic relations with Russia or the Soviet Union. That is exactly why both states, the Federal Republic and the German Democratic Republic, wanted to open German schools in the Soviet capital Moscow. The Federal Republic led the way by opening the first German school in the 1960s. At this school, up to 100 children could be taught in German. But the German Democratic Republic followed suit and also opened a German school in southwest Moscow, but on a completely different scale. This school could teach up to 400 children. There was a huge assembly hall and a very nice sports field. That meant there were now 2 German schools in this district. This is how the term Nimgorodok first emerged, which in German means small German town. By the way, the German federal government has repeatedly rated these 2 German schools in Moscow as excellent. And that also reached the Russian leadership back then. As mentioned, Putin sent both of his daughters to these schools, and he himself has personally visited the school several times, most recently in 2016, for the project Remembering, Commemorating, Reconciling. This project is about Russian and German students engaging with their shared history and developing a connection to it. But apart from these 2 schools, starting in 1975, delegates of the German Democratic Republic, embassy staff, trade representatives, diplomats and representatives of the socialist German state also moved in and lived in this German village. The biggest growth, however, happened in 1990, when Germany was reunified. The Federal Republic then basically bought this German area in Moscow, so to speak, and it officially became German territory. At least German law applies there. German is spoken, the schools are German, the kindergartens are German. The inn, as mentioned, is called Deutsches Eck, and yes, people greet each other in German. There is not much Russian left in this district, in this village. It is theoretically a small German area in the Russian capital, but the fact that Germany took over this area is both a blessing and a curse. While rents in Moscow have tended to decrease in recent years, rents in this German village have risen exponentially, just like in Germany. And that is despite the fact that people were already paying double in this district compared to the rest of Moscow. For 200 square meters, for example, people paid 4,000 euros, including utilities in 2016. I think that is very expensive even by German standards, and even more so by Russian standards. But the landlord does not care, and the landlord is the Federal Republic of Germany, which increased rents by 20% every 3 years. In a way, Germany is going against the logic of the Moscow rental market, and residents are now complaining about this more and more often. One resident even sued the German state over these rent increases, but did not succeed in court in Germany. This is why life in this village is becoming increasingly difficult as rent prices keep rising. On top of that, there is German bureaucracy and most recently the Russia-Ukraine war, which through tensions and sanctions is making life in Russia more and more difficult. That is why many experts say this village is on the verge of disappearing. Nevertheless, this German village is still a popular place to live, especially for Germans from the West and the East who live in Moscow for professional or work-related reasons and are simply looking for a safe and affluent area to live in. You can only enter with a special pass. There is a very tall green barbed wire fence, and the entire area is monitored by hundreds of surveillance cameras. That means this area is really very secure. I would have liked to show you this village in person when I am next in Russia, but I cannot get in anyway. So whether I report for you from Germany or from there makes no real difference. But still, so that you can picture it better, here is a short description of the village. The area is about the size of 6 soccer fields. There are around 400 apartments, and about 1,000 Germans live there in total. And yes, as mentioned, there are German schools and German kindergartens. The Deutsches Eck, the inn, was German and had an owner from Zurich, but unfortunately it has since had to close due to the problems mentioned earlier. But yes, there was beer, pork knuckle was very popular, Königsberger Klopse, all those typical German dishes were eaten there. So it really was its own bubble and its own little world, so to speak. The 1,000 Germans living there often report a very strong sense of community. There are many shared celebrations, barbecues, farewell parties, and people generally live together very well. On the other hand, you often hear that everyone knows everyone, and you cannot walk through the village without getting pulled into conversations or hearing gossip. That means living so close together naturally comes with both positive and negative aspects. In this German village, so there is a German parallel world right in the heart of the Russian capital. And yes, I thought it was worth making a video about it, as a little fun fact, or a place that probably not many people know about. So that is it, short and sweet. Let me know in the comments if you already knew about this German village. Otherwise, feel free to check out this video here, where I also visited a German village right in the middle of Central Asia, in Kyrgyzstan. Because German villages do not only exist in Russia, but across the entire former Soviet Union. And I visit them regularly on my channel, so feel free to check out the video. I have also been to German villages in Kazakhstan, so I have already seen quite a few. In the future, there will also be German villages in Armenia and Azerbaijan, so feel free to subscribe if you do not want to miss that. And yes, thanks for watching. Credits also go to Clever Camel, who gave me this idea and has already made a video about it as well. And yes, see you next time. Until then, bye.